So hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 2 of season 4 here on our F1 Manager 23 save. Now if you didn't watch the opening episode of the season, go back and watch that one because it was a very action-packed race in Sakir. It gave us a lot of hope and a little bit of disappointment as well because as we can see, Max Verstappen and George Russell, the two Red Bulls won, but Lando Norris finishing P4 after having an incident, a racing incident with Checo Perez finishing P4, so still doing rather well. Pierre Gasly, who didn't have the same rear wing, finishing in P3, so very, very optimistic signs early doors in this season. To bring you up to date with the car part development, we are still developing the car heavily. The chassis is now being upgraded, as is the front wing, so that's going to continue to improve us. I won't show you the standings because there's not too much point after that first race. As you can imagine, Red Bull are on top, but this weekend we go to Jeddah in Saudi Arabia, 50 laps around here, and I've got to say I fancy his car attributes. Top speed, we're very, very good at top speed and medium and high speed cornering. This should suit our car this season. We can be very excited. The expected strategy is a one-stop from soft onto mediums. That tends to be the optimal strategy, and that's possibly what we will do. But apart from that, ladies and gentlemen, there's not too much else to show you. We're going to get straight into it, and I'll see you in qualifying for the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix. This is it then, final laps in Q3. As you can see, Lando Norris is currently in P3. He's not exactly making inroads on this final lap either. Verstappen's been stuck behind him a long way around this track. Lando Norris doesn't improve, but Pierre Gasly sets a purple first sector. Will he be able to get P1? Pierre Gasly goes provisional pole position, and I believe that is going to be enough. And Pierre Gasly is on pole position for tomorrow's Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. What a qualifying lap that was from Pierre at the end. Lando in P4. And as we just get to the classifieds at the end, my word, that is some lap from Pierre Gasly in P1, a 127.8. He's got Checo Perez alongside him, George Russell, then Lando Norris. Very interesting indeed. Let's get to the strategy. Right then, ladies and gents, Pierre Gasly starting in P1. We are going to seriously underfuel his car a little bit because what I want to do is ensure that we give him the best chance of breaking away. If he can stay clear, off the line, break the DRS and break the toe, he could run off into the sunset. Lando Norris in P4. We've took a lap of fuel out, but he's going to have probably a more tricky race. If Pierre Gasly can run away, we will be on a winner. Let's get to 5 red lights.
The drivers are lined up on the grid here at the Jeddah Corniche circuit, preparing for 50 flat-out laps under the lights. Now, this could be an important race for Pierre Gasly.
They start in P1, but will they be able to stay there? The first corner could be so crucial.
But just what will happen here, your guess is as good as mine. It's almost time for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go.
And away we go, and it is all eyes on Pierre Gasly. We need to ensure that we are ahead after turn 1. He's going around the outside. Perez tries to shove him across, but Pierre Gasly is in front of Checo Perez and now can hopefully look to run away. Perez is still coming at him a little bit, but Gasly looks like he's got him covered off, and he certainly has. Lando Norris in P4. He's not lost any positions off the start either, but now is the time for Pierre to try and run away with this. Lando Norris is actually fighting with Valtteri Bottas on the medium compounder tyre. Lando Norris needs to ensure that he stays with these Red Bulls today. Absolutely crucial that he does so, and straight away we can see Pierre Gasly pulling the gap to Checo Perez to 4/10 of a second already. So it's basically as you were, Gasly from Perez, then comes Russell, Norris and Bottas, Leclerc in P6, Albon P7, Verstappen in P8 at the moment, fighting with the Mercedes, but Gasly is doing his utmost to get away from the pack. And on lap 2, we've had a lock-up already, and it is Théo Pourchaire in the Alfa Romeo Haas. Remember how impressive was Théo Pourchaire last season in that Haas, and then it's just a little lock-up. He runs a little bit wide, and then he goes through an Audi. I mean, that is a really bad bit of driving and a mystical bit of driving. But as you can see, as we're coming on towards the end of lap 2, Pierre Gasly, 1.6 seconds to Perez. He's doing exactly what we told him to do. Théo Pourchaire locking up again. This time we are on lap 6, and Théo Pourchaire, let's have a little look at this. He just cannot get this Alfa Romeo Haas to turn where he wants it to turn, and Théo Pourchaire all the way down now, probably dead last for Théo Pourchaire. But one thing that is very interesting, the gap is now 2.9 seconds from Gasly to Russell. We are actually managing the tyres beautifully as well. We have got better tyres than our competitors around us. And at this moment, this battling, you can see Lando Norris at the moment going for the move on George Russell. And what a move it is. He's topping up ERS, by the way. Is Lando Norris doing a fantastic job there. And Lando Norris now is in P2. As it stands at this moment, it's a 1-2 for Andretti Cadillac. 2.8 seconds now the gap. George Russell coming back. Lando Norris down the start finish straight and manages to get him into turn 1. But this battling is really helping Pierre Gasly, and we'll start looking at fuel very shortly. Lando Norris got George Russell once again. These two have been exchanging places, and this is really helping Lando Norris's teammate Pierre Gasly, with Verstappen all the way down towards the midfield as well. Lando Norris and George Russell going at it, as you can see. Checo Perez just sort of watching on at this moment in time, not really getting involved. It's currently 3.7 seconds is the gap from Lando to Pierre Gasly, who's managing his tyres beautifully. He's conserving fuel. We are managing this gap at 3.8 seconds. My word, this is looking very, very promising indeed for the man from France and for the team from America, the Andretti Cadillac. And Lando Norris, I mean, he's going to fancy a 1-2 here. He looks so confident, and it must be said that the tyre wear we are managing beautifully as well. George Russell's burning his tyres up, attacking Lando Norris. Lando Norris just charging his battery at this moment in time. Lap 11, we'll have a full rundown. We've got Pierre Gasly with the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Then comes Lando Norris, George Russell and Perez in P4. Verstappen is in P5. Then comes Leclerc, Albon and Bottas, the two Mercs, running in P7 and P8. And then we can see Tsunoda and Ocon, the two Audis. It's Mercedes from Audi in P7 and 8 and 9 and 10. Lap 16, the gap got cut a little bit. Checo Perez went on a little bit of an attack on Pierre Gasly. He actually dropped Lando Norris out of the RS range, but in turn, Lando Norris managing to turn it on a little bit, use the battery what he'd been storing up for the last few laps, and now he's on the back of Checo Perez once again, which is allowing a little bit of battling and allowing Gasly to pull out that lead once again. But Norris in P3, Gasly has led every lap of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix so far. Pit stops we're expecting around lap 21. Checo Perez is one of the first cars to pit on the medium compounder tyre on lap 19, possibly going for an undercut. What we've managed to do is we dropped Checo Perez out of DRS range, and Lando Norris now is trying to catch up with Pierre Gasly. We'll be coming in a couple of laps' time, but Gasly and Norris at the moment, P1 and P2, we've got a 4.7 second gap to George Russell in P3. Pierre Gasly is in from the lead of the Grand Prix. We've done it to try and cover off Checo Perez. I wanted to make sure that we got Pierre in. Lando Norris will be coming in on the next lap, but in comes Pierre Gasly. Oh no, the back rear gunner has not done very well there. It's a 5-second stop for Pierre Gasly, and so frustrating. We've worked on that so hard as well. We'll just get Lando Norris coming in very shortly. Let's see where Pierre Gasly filters out, and he's lost a lot of time there to the guys in front. We can see Perez and Ocon and Tsunoda. Fortunately, he has got the fresher tyres now, but he's got to get back in the DRS of these cars very, very quickly now, has Pierre Gasly. Lap 21, disappointing. Norris in this lap. Lando pit lane, lap 21, into the pits comes Lando Norris, and into the pits comes George Russell as well. The Red Bull team are out, as we can see. Lando Norris, they're looking very, very keen. The Andretti Cadillac pit crew, are we going to get a better stop? We certainly are. 2.9 seconds. If Pierre Gasly had got that stop, it could have all been so different. But Pierre Gasly now is on the back of Checo Perez. He's got Checo Perez. This could be absolutely crucial, because if he can now attack the two Aston Martins in front of him and put some distance between himself and Checo Perez, who knows what could potentially happen. And the next gaggle of cars are a little way up the road as well. This is still looking very, very good indeed for Pierre Gasly. Let's see where Lando Norris filters out. Lando Norris filters out behind that gaggle of cars, but Pierre Gasly at the moment is net P1. Pierre Gasly has got Esteban Ocon, I believe it was. He managed to get him into turn one. He dives into turn one. He's got the grip on those tyres now. He's got a medium compound runner in an Aston Martin as well. Checo Perez following him through. Lando Norris, you can see, not too far behind. But if he can get past Yuki Tsunoda before Checo Perez, this could be absolutely crucial. Lap 23, Gasly could win it here. What a big couple of moments this could be. Pierre Gasly, as we can see, gets Yuki Tsunoda round the outside. Round the outside goes Pierre Gasly into the final corner. What that has meant is Yuki Tsunoda is now holding up Checo Perez, but as you can see behind as well, Lando Norris has managed to get past Checo Perez, and now it is time for Pierre Gasly to put the afterburners on and get away while the iron is hot. Get away from Checo Perez, build that gap now, and that will suit him very nicely indeed. In front of Gasly now, we've got 4 medium compound tyre runners, but Gasly can run away from this pack now. Lando Norris is still fighting with Checo Perez, and he's going to be looking to surely get past this Aston Martin as well. Pierre Gasly has made his way through this traffic beautifully. He's now just got past Lewis Hamilton in that Ferrari. Lovely move. He's got the grip. He's got everything at this moment in time. Checo Perez is losing time to him by the moment, and Pierre Gasly, DRS wide open, past the Ferrari. He is now on track in P3. He's net P1 by some distance now, and Norris and Perez are still going at it. Here comes Lando Norris again. Let's go, Lando. We are halfway through this race at this moment in time, and Lando Norris now starting to make moves. Are we on for an Andretti Cadillac 1-2? We'll come back when everybody's made the pit stops. Pierre Gasly is just overtaking cars left, right and centre. He's seen the Mercedes here and then decided, I'm just going to drive past him. Lovely work around the outside once again. Pierre Gasly, has got this Andretti Cadillac on a string today, and we are here for it. Pierre Gasly now P2 on track. He gets past Alexander Albon. Norris actually lost the position there to Valtteri Bottas, so Lando Norris now has got to try and get back up towards Checo Perez, because I don't want Perez running away, but Lando's got the better tyres than Perez. We will probably get him towards the end of this race, but at the moment now, the gap to Perez is 2 seconds. Gasly's still conserving his fuel. We can stop doing that in a little while. Lap 27, Gasly leads. Crucial overtake from Lando Norris. He had to get past this Mercedes of Valtteri Bottas, and he's done it beautifully. Lovely work from Lando Norris. Great work from him. He's now back on the tail of Checo Perez. You can see the gap to Pierre Gasly has closed a little bit in front, 1.5 seconds now, but Gasly is starting to push on a little bit. Perez's tyres are going to die. Lando Norris's certainly aren't, and I reckon towards the end we will be in a very, very nice position indeed. Must be said, Alexander Albon, let's have a quick look at this situation in the pits for Mercedes. Is this a bad stop? I'm showing you this because we had a bad stop earlier, and I wanted to show you that it's not just us that have these problems. Mercedes, my word. He's held that there so long, they could have rebuilt the blooming Mercedes there. But we are looking very, very good. 1.5 seconds a gap to Perez now. We are willing to push on very shortly with Pierre. Oh, it's all happening now. This gaggle of cars sharing DRS is pulling them up to the back of Pierre Gasly. We're trying to use Lando Norris to block a little bit for his teammate, but George Russell's just made an audacious move down at the inside of turn 1. Lovely move from George Russell. He's now up into P2. Pierre Gasly is on the verge of getting caught, and we are having to push on the tyres to try and stay away from these Red Bulls. And it must be said at this moment in time, it is not quite working. The Red Bulls look quick. Lando Norris is doing his utmost to try and keep in pace with George Russell, who's on the medium compounded tyre. Lando has got to start making moves now. Lap 35, you join us back for the live action because George Russell has just taken the lead of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. We are doing everything we possibly can to stay in front of these Red Bulls. These Red Bulls have come out of absolute nowhere, and now it is Andretti versus Red Bull, and it's going to get very, very interesting towards the end of this Grand Prix. Lando Norris is just going to be told just to calm down a little bit. Pierre Gasly probably won't mind this at this moment in time. There are no team orders at the moment. It'll fall the way it falls, but Pierre Gasly's got to hang on to Russell. We've got fuel to save. Going to be a very, very interesting end to this Grand Prix. Now everybody's pit, we can come back. Russell is in P1 from Gasly and Norris. Verstappen P4, Perez has dropped back now. His race is run. Leclerc in P6, Piastri P7, then comes Bottas, Albon and Hamilton. But my God, I want to beat these Red Bulls today. Lap 35. It's all happening here. Lando Norris dropped to 4th. Now he is in P1 because he has just managed to overtake George Russell. He's overtaking his teammate as well. But Lando Norris now up into P1. Pierre Gasly in at P3. Probably won't mind that. His tyres aren't as good as the other cars around him. So this might be a good opportunity, to be fair, for Pierre Gasly to just save his tyres a little bit towards the end. But Pierre Gasly in P3. And this is it now. It's a battle between 4 cars for the podiums. 2 are Andretti's, 2 are Red Bulls. Let me know down in the comments at this point, who is your money on? We do have a virtual safety car with 10 laps to go. VSC. Alexander Albon crashes. If it was a full course safety car, we would have pit the cars. But Alexander Albon smashing into the wall in that Mercedes, and that sounded like it. Probably driving with a little bit of frustration after the earlier pit stop problems. I mean, it's not gone well for Mercedes at all today. But this may help us, because what this allows us to do, it allows us to conserve on the tyres. It allows us to get our ERS back up to get our battery back full, if I can get my teeth in all the excitement. And it must be said now, this is a big opportunity for us. Don't think it's worth pitting at this moment in time. We'd probably come out in front of Bottas, but we'd have 10 laps to fight back through. This is a very good opportunity for us at this moment in time to just charge everything back up and then go again for the final sprint towards the end. 10 to go. We'll come back when we're back to green flag running. We are back to green flag running. Lando Norris and George Russell, Pierre Gasly and Verstappen now fighting for this win. It's going to be very close. The tyre wear is a minimal difference between them. Lando Norris has been told, could you get a shift on here and possibly try and break the DRS? I don't think we're going to manage it. We're going to try it for a couple of laps and see what happens. Pierre Gasly, it looks like his race has run. He's fading away now. Max Verstappen managing to get past with the DRS wide open. He's dropped out of the DRS of the front two, but Gasly will be so disappointed. He's still fighting Verstappen, but Verstappen is now up into P3, and that's so disappointing for Pierre. He's pushing at the moment. We've just calmed it down on the tyres. We are pushing once again, but Pierre Gasly could possibly still get Verstappen, but it's just a race really between Norris and Russell now for the win. We've got 6 to go here. We'll have a full rundown. It's Norris from Russell, Verstappen, then Gasly, Perez in P5, Leclerc P6, then comes Bottas, Piastri, Hamilton, and Tsunoda in P10. Lap 46, you join us back. Lando Norris has denied us a grandstand finish because Lando Norris now is miles up the road. 2.4 seconds to Verstappen. He just got the pace. He's attacked. He's been fantastic in these last few laps. Lando Norris leads the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Pierre Gasly at the moment, he's just holding on to the back of these Red Bulls. For how much longer, we will have to see. But at this moment in time, 4 laps to go, Pierre could still get a podium. Checo Perez is coming strong behind as well. 35% tyres for Checo Perez. We need to ensure that Pierre stays in the DRS of the Red Bulls and Norris stays well in front. Final lap of the Grand Prix. Pierre Gasly is doing everything he possibly can to chase down these 2 Red Bulls. Lando Norris, he's leading away. His job is done today. 3.2 seconds the gap to Max Verstappen. Could Pierre Gasly sneak his way onto a podium? We are going to be aggressive on the overtakes, but my word, if Pierre Gasly could somehow get a podium here, it would be absolutely phenomenal for the Frenchman. To be fair, I think he deserves a win today. I think it really does. At the moment, we're just going to have to be cautious a little bit now on the fuel, but hopefully, he can manage to get an opportunity. George Russell is not looking particularly quick at this moment in time. Gasly has got the worst tyres of anyone in the top 4, but could Pierre Gasly possibly produce a moment of magic on the final lap in Jeddah to get a podium, to get 2 Andretti cars on the podium rather than 2 Red Bulls? Are they going to do enough to be able to defend? Pierre Gasly's tyres are looking like they are just about done. We can see the tyres are done. He could possibly get a puncture, but it's all or nothing now for Pierre Gasly, as we are going to have a look on board with the Frenchman. Will he possibly be able to make a dive round these last few corners in the final sector of this race? It doesn't look likely. It looks like it's just about done for Pierre Gasly. He cannot get close enough to these Red Bull cars. He might have a decent run to the line depending on what happens to the Red Bulls here. But Pierre Gasly round the final corner. We can see Lando Norris. He's trundling away. Lando Norris is going to win the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Pierre Gasly cannot quite get close enough. It's P4 for Pierre, but Lando Norris wins at a canter in the end, ladies and gentlemen. What a way to do it. Fantastic from Lando Norris. And yeah, we are going to get a lovely podium scene with an Andretti Cadillac driver on the top step.
What a remarkable drive by Lando Norris today.
An inspired strategy from the team there. What a well-deserved win that was.
But just look at this. The overwhelming excitement for those celebrating this achievement. And after such a fabulous drive here today, it's no surprise to see this man land on the podium.
Their first win of the season, and the team looking on will be very proud, I'm sure.
What a moment it is for Lando Norris, and does that just show our hand a little bit that we are well up for the fight in the Constructors and the Drivers' Championships this year. Lando Norris gaining 3 positions. To be fair, the Red Bulls were very quick, but just not quite quick enough. Lando from Verstappen, Russell in P3, Gasly in P4. I felt deserved a little bit more. Charles Leclerc in P5, Perez P6, Piastri P7, then comes Bottas, Tsunoda and Hamilton. Remember, Pierre Gasly actually had that very terrible stop as well. 2 seconds. Everything could have changed. Drivers standings wise, Max Verstappen still leads, but Lando Norris is very much behind him now. Very close behind him, just 7 points behind him. George Russell in P3, Gasly P4. Then comes Leclerc in the Ferrari, Hamilton all the way down in 9th. Going to be very, very interesting. Let me know who you think is going to win the Drivers' Championship and who's going to win the Constructors. And Constructors wise, we are of course 12 points behind Red Bull, but we have a win apiece out of the first 2 rounds, and it's on to Australia next. I hope you've enjoyed that one, ladies and gentlemen. Please do like and subscribe, and I shall see you on the next one. Ta-ra!